Very tactical of them as well to do a whistling version of the FNAF theme. Very nice in its own little bubble. But you can never beat the version. The version? Oh god, it's already whipping my accent around.
What do they want with my sister?
A new set of rules. Put on a mask. Wind up the little toy box and get in the vents. Years before 2020. So, FNAF 2 is finally here. It completely missed the month of Halloween and is in fact releasing in time for Christmas for some reason. But either way, I don't actually get around to talking about live action movies very much anymore, let alone video game adaptations. But we did cover the original FNAF movie a good few years back when it released, and I really wanted to cover the sequel one too. Because for me, I've got a real soft spot for the FNAF movies. They're not cinema necessarily, in the sense of they're not 100 out of 100 if you ask me, and I think the first movie was fun, well adapted visually, the story maybe a little bit flat, but I also think that comes down to it being the first movie, wanting to play things pretty safe, and Markiplier did not have time to appear in it, so it had to be docked a few points there.
It's always the same.
Oh, going into her dreams now, are we? I don't remember the previous trailer all that well, I'm gonna be honest, but it's nice to see the dream theory is keeping up. The first movie was kind of, you know, it was fine, it was very simplistic, it was very first movie syndrome. I'm excited to see them expand it a little more this time, with these characters specifically.
You deal with some of the mess you left in your head.
My father was a monster.
It's interesting as well that this is very non-animatronic focused, this one. I know the first one very much was, and it's really, again, lovely to see the accurate adaptations of FNAF 2 this time. It's all the toy versions of all the characters. Just fantastic stuff from the Jim Henson company. That's what they are, they're a company. I think that's something I find so satisfying. I don't know how well this particular video will do because it's a live action movie and a video game adaptation, which is usually the two pillars of this video's going to flop. But for me, I absolutely love the video game adaptation game. And these movies do an immaculate job on the visuals at the very least. But now that we're coming around to the second movie, it looks good in its own little way. Still can't fully tell exactly how quality the story is gonna be, or the action sequences, if you want to call them that. They were incredibly goofy in the first movie. But I am super into wherever they're going next with this. Well, they're adapting FNAF 2 is where they're going next, but I'm super into seeing it. Now, I think it's always interesting to see how a video game is going to be adapted narratively into a 2-hour-ish experience, but it seems like they're doing a very decently good job. I don't remember the Fazbear Talker before, and a mass murdering plot with the animatronics just going ham on a lively town is exactly the kind of slasher experience I didn't realize I wanted to see out of the FNAF logic, but it's really fun anyway. I mean, technically, the FNAF games don't actually have that high of a kill count, considering you live through the 5 nights on the correct timeline, usually. You know, at most, someone gets scooped at the end and appears in a future game. That's full, like, FNAF 5 territory for the movies. I love the designs of, like, are they nightmare versions? No, they're not nightmares. That's FNAF 3. Either way, I love the new Chica and the no-face Bonnie. It's just, like, peak. It's almost body horror, but metallic. Scott Cawthon was cooking back in the day on that. Wow, does she die on stage? What is she, a comedian? Even still, I think if there's one thing that really stands out with the FNAF movies, it's the quality of the animatronics by the Jim Henson Company that really managed to perfectly re-represent the Five Nights at Freddys animatronics in real life, and it's shockingly well done. I just get so much dopamine when I see some visually accurate FNAF 2 animatronics, even if it's like some of the most horrifying designs, like Bonnie with no face. Why does that get to me? It's not a human face, but I don't like it, and I'm certainly not looking forward to FNAF 3 when they get actually nightmare quality. Even still, what is really nice to see as well is I actually do have quite high hopes for this movie because it is such a successful, massively popular, with a rabid fan base sequel to an otherwise safe movie that at least had open doors for improving itself. I don't think the original characters brought in by this movie, well, original in their adapted versions and the, you know, swapping of families that they have going on was that interesting compared to the games, but it wouldn't be because they don't get as much time to play around with it.
Are you ever gonna go back? to Freddys, I mean.
I can easily see this movie also being one of those movies with way too many quotable lines, and that feels like a weird one. It was just slightly strangely delivered, because done by a kid, of course, but just the whole, are you gonna go back to Freddy's, I mean? I don't know. Maybe I got too much chicken jockey brain on the mind. Think this movie's gonna try and do a chicken jockey? Psh, Golden Freddy! You know what I mean? I doubt. Shadow Bonnie! Balloon Boy! It's the fucking puppet! It is 1:30 in the morning, and I think it's showing. But clearly, there's still more to run with the Josh Hutcherson character and the new Vanessa, and they are actually exploring it, which is really, really nice. Tying it together as well with dream sequences again, as some way to connect to the spirits of the children, yeah, I can totally get behind this. And I really do think it has the potential to be really good this time. I think I'm one of the bigger critics of the original movie, because I judge it like any other movie. And FNAF has that interesting thing where it's clearly horror and it's got some horrendous themes and events that happen in its games and in its lore, but it also has a very young audience, so they play towards that with their movies being very PG-13 in the violence, and I think it's probably sticking to that, which is a shame, but hopefully they can still do a little bit more around it, knowing that they can have the confidence in itself to take a starker, more bold dive, you know? Plus, you know, those FNAF fans, they've aged. The PG-13 kids are at least 15 now. Make it 15. Horror. They won't, but it's fine.
Half of this town will be dead by morning.
Ooh, and a mass murdering story for the animatronics on a living village? That's great.
She was murdered by him.
He's so goofy. Look at little baby William. It's funny, I wouldn't call myself a proper FNAF fan because I have not kept up with the FNAF games recently, but I do know the old school stuff, and I've got a real soft spot when it comes to Mangle, of all things. Is that an uncommon take that Mangle is my favorite animatronic? Is it an uncommon take to have a favorite animatronic in the first place? Either way, as you can imagine, these trailers and movies are steeped full of different references. Maybe one of the first ones in there is William Afton whistling the Freddy Fazbear theme. Whilst interestingly as well, I do remember from years back that in the first movie, there's a little bit of Morse code in the buzzer in one of the scenes that spells out, "It's me," I believe, which is the catchphrase of Golden Freddy, and potentially a hint to Josh Hutcherson's little brother, which is something I would really like to see explored more. Seeing a little bit more of the Golden Freddy element would be really fun to see. But also, you just know this movie's gonna be a feast. FNAF 2 is one of the best FNAF games, if that's okay to say. And so to see it done with relative good justice, with a little bit extra flair in there, I mean, William Afton's out here with a knife now, not just stalking children with his arms out.
You know that.
Hey, he's gotta be a slasher, man. Was William Afton a knife guy? I don't think he was just a vague amount of purple pixels, I guess. I feel like they've added that for the Scream. And we know some of the casting, that's right, includes Billy from Scream 1 as well, I believe. Oh, that's so sweet. Good to see FNAF has just adopted the Scream cast piece by piece. When are we gonna get Sarah Michelle Gellar having a cameo? Well, we better have Markiplier first.
Your dad.
Ooh, any chance to get more Matthew Lillard as well? Oh, what a golden child that guy is. You know, also, since the last time I covered FNAF content, I have now seen all of the Scream movies. Never saw them before. Only this recent Halloween did I actually watch Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 6? God, I can't remember how many there are anymore. Great times. And as well, we know that there are other cast members involved, like the other guy from Scream, which is just a great cheeky little cameo in the horror industry. And also, hey, Matt Pat evolved from a waiter into a body, so that's good for him. There seems to be a running theme of video game movies always having their creators as the waiter, so it happened in the Minecraft movie as well. I'm glad he's risen through the ranks. What, is Markiplier going to be the waiter this time, or are they actually going to kill him like a guard like the first movie was planning to? See, there's loads of, like, details and something about FNAF just makes you want to regurgitate facts and details. I actually had a video planned when the original trailer came out for FNAF 2 back in August, where I was going to go through every single FNAF reference in that trailer, and it was proper chunky and everything, and then it just just fell through. I think it's because I wanted to do it faster and do a trailer reaction, and then it fell into a long-form research piece, so it never really came to be. Maybe, if this video does well, we'll reinstate it. I've recorded it and everything, I just haven't edited it. But also, again, it comes down to how well this video actually does. It is a video game movie, and it is in live action. I did a review on the Minecraft movie yonks ago, over an hour long. It flopped. It also got copyright struck, so, you know, that's not great, but hey-ho, what can you do? Okay, the building of Freddy Fazbear. You know where this is going. I don't know if we've actually talked about it specifically, but I know all the theories attached to the FNAF movie original. I was a big fan of it. You know, I've fallen into the FNAF lore a couple of times. It's in my head. So for some reason, it won't leave. And it was very much the idea that there is as well the work partner to William Afton, who now will presumably be Josh Hutcherson's father this time, because they swapped families from the games versions. Don't worry about it too much. Maybe.
But it wasn't until years later when those 5 children went missing.
Ooh, cool. We see some of the parents, one of the parents of the missing children. Nice classic, that is where you take a cinema experience. Either way, I just really wanted to talk about the new FNAF 2 trailer, because something about it just, I don't know, gets the blood pumping. It's a fun, silly, because it's not going to get blood pumping in a I'm genuinely scared by this. Maybe Mangle's going to have a good jump scare at some point, bashing through the glass window. At most. I do hope it does a little bit more in the scary side of things, and I like to think this movie's willing to take more risks, knowing it's got such a passionate fan base that's so wholesome when you see Matthew Lillard talking about it in all his community appearances. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to seeing this franchise bloom. It's very wholesome in its weird, psychotic, child-murdering ways. Still think it should have probably come out in the month of Halloween, but December 5th as a nice alternative, yeah, that's not the end of the world. So depending on how well this trailer reaction does, we may or may not do a full review of this movie. But even if not, it's probably how I'm going to spend my morning on that December 5th. I don't necessarily want to call myself a FNAF fanboy. Looking at the way I could talk and monologue about this thing, maybe I have to accept the fact that maybe I am a little bit of a FNAF fanboy. I was just there when it happened, you know? I was there when it released and everything. Yeah, that's pretty die-hard. Oh, we're going to lose the parents to one of the kids as well, aren't we? That's tragic. Thought it was going to be a Hello Balloon Boy, but I love Mangle! Mangle's my favorite. God, I really sound like a FNAF fanboy with this, don't I? I named my camera after Mangle, that thing. You can't see it right now, but it's also just like a mess of metallic pipes and screwed attached to my desk and around the monitors. So because it's just a big collection of pipes, I lovingly call him Mangle. It's gonna be tragic one day when the camera just falls off and the lens breaks, you know? Oh, fantastic stuff. You can always rely on, like, the FNAF movies, if not anything, being just, like, super solid visual adaptations of the video game mechanics. I also know there are a million references, of course, to the original games in these trailers, in every kind of form. Obviously, the direct designs of the animatronics, going back to the original pizzeria like they did in FNAF 2 as well.
Some little girl got murdered here.
Maybe even a little bit of like the VHS horror aesthetic as well. Very fitting to some of the FNAF lore and fan content. Probably more the lore side of things though. Perfect for horror tropes.
Friends?
It's got some of like the comic drawing logic that codes the animatronics from the comics.
Can any of you hear me?
Faz Talker, I think, is slightly new, but kind of adapted from the general technology of the FNAF games, if I remember right.
There, Mike.
Little puppet hands as well. You got some of the flashbacks with William Afton. I love the scene of Mangle on the car. That's just cinema.
There's no way that'll work.
And then, of course, you've got the accurate redesigned set of FNAF 2 with the mask and, like, the hallway at the end of the office. Mwah. Love that stuff. For now, though, I'd best finally end it off there. So, my name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell me your thoughts on FNAF 2. Do you not care? I would like to know if you don't, although presumably you've made it all the way to here, you probably do. I'm always trying to work out exactly what my audience is into, although admittedly, I think I know where this one's going. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and more anyway. Tell me all the references and details in the trailers, and maybe I'll get around to doing that original video. But otherwise, I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio. Oh, I bit my lip on the way out that time.